Something Spiderberg. Whatever. We're back, I
Bring
guess.
it back.
Something
Welcome
Spiderberg, whatever.
to a very Benadryl hazed Nathan doing this intro of I Be Suffer. This is episode 286 of I Be Suffer. I'm Nathan.
I'm Kit.
I'm Katie.
And we're not dead.
We're fine.
Yeah.
Despite
everything
common
is okay.
belief. Although I might be. I've been sick pretty much like 3 times since we recorded the last time.
I was literally going to say, I just got over a death illness. Nathan's been sick like 15 times. Kit,
I was sick a couple weeks ago.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've recorded since like the 16th or some shit of December.
I don't think it feels like it's been years.
Yeah.
Who even knows?
Like,
I was thinking yesterday, I was like, has it been like a month?
yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
I don't remember the last time we did this.
It was like
It's like, did we
pre-Christmas,
accidentally stop doing the podcast and just not tell anybody? We're here.
Right?
It's fine.
Like to say, like, we all got sick. Kit was out of town for a week. Katie was out of town for a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just general scheduling conflicts. Fuck it. It's been 2024, not my year. Let's go 2025.
Yeah.
You know, you would have thought that having 2 people in the same time zone would make the scheduling easier, but it hasn't.
It's like, it's also one of those things that, like, you and I both have sort of rotating schedules. Mine's relatively the same now, unless somebody puts in vacation and stuff like that. But, like...
Yeah, mine's ever shifting.
Yeah. But, like, you are getting off work, essentially, as I'm getting ready for work most days.
Yeah.
So...
Well, and I don't have, like, a set time to leave. Like,
Yeah.
I could be done at 2 o'clock, or I could be done at 9 o'clock. I never have any idea.
Yeah.
Not me. They're always like, you want to stay later? And I'm like, fuck you, already clocked out. Bye.
I do somehow feel like it was easier when we were in 3 different time zones, because when we would
somehow
for a while, like, we were recording and it was like between noon and 2 p.m. my time, and I'm like, I'm not doing nothing, you know. Not that I'm doing anything now, but you know.
All right, so we're gonna talk about some dumb questions you dummies sent us.
Yeah.
Take that. No, I actually got like some pretty decent questions this time around, minus the first 2 I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna kick these dummies right out of this podcast. So yeah, we're gonna do Q&A. Katie, do you want to do yours first? Or you want me to just do a handful and then?
I'll do mine first.
All right.
I think I just remembered that. Okay, I was like scrolling back through because since I only got one question, I forgot to keep posting to ask for questions, so that was my bad. But I only got one, and I just screenshotted it, and so I'm flipping through, and the first thing that showed up, and I thought this was the question, is that Jesus Christ is the only true superhero. I'm gonna delete that now.
Correct.
Let me find it. Hold on. We've been recently being visited by many adorable feral cats, and so my roll is just like full of them. They're so cute. Okay. My friend Adam asks, who's the baddest evil doll of them all?
Chucky.
So I don't know. I'm assuming, so he is into ventriloquist dummies, which no thank you. So I'm wondering, I'm not sure if like the context of this question is specifically for horror movies or just like in general, if that changes anybody's opinion.
What if he actually is like speaking in like 1950s terms and he just means like a bad bitch?
He could be. Who's the baddest evil doll of them all?
Who's the 1930s detective asking about dolls?
I'm gonna be safe and answer both versions by saying Tiffany.
Yeah, fair.
That's a good answer.
I definitely, at least the little bit of season 2 of Chucky I saw, she's leading shit. So
yeah.
I'm gonna say whatever the dummy's name was from that Tales from the Crypt episode.
Was it Morty?
Morty, yeah, it's Morty.
Because so like on the surface,
Morty, a bad bitch, for sure.
Ew. Oh, gross. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like body count wise, gotta be Chucky.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of like,
I think
maybe
his answer.
Puppet Master dolls are like pretty cool looking.
See, I still haven't seen any of the Puppet Master.
Yeah, all you gotta know is there's one of them's got a drill on his head, which is pretty sick.
Oh, I don't like that.
Why not?
I just don't like.
You read too many of those weird erotic novels for that to work for you.
Okay, fair. Yeah, well, I'm assuming that his answer would be Slappy because he's obsessed with Slappy. I don't know. I know a lot of creepy dolls in real life that I would be scared to encounter. But...
yeah, I'm gonna stick with Chucky because I feel like all the rest of them seem like too goofy, I guess, for me.
And to be fair, if you're thinking about any I think probably if you're in the paranormal space, which I am, you think Robert the doll, the one that starts with a P that you're not supposed to say her name.
So.
But I'm saying those
Penelope?
to me, no. Those to me are different because usually you have to be in the vicinity of them and do them wrong in some way. So or Annabelle or whatever. But Chucky has he is a he could just decide to come after you, and that's a little bit different to me.
Chucky's got a cool as fuck voice. He's got a cool family. He got to kill Method Man and John Waters. Was it Method? Maybe it was Red Man. I forget which one.
It was Red Man.
Was it
one of the men?
Was Method Man not in one of those? I guess maybe it was just Red Man.
No, it was just Red Man.
Yeah. Chucky wins by a mile.
Chucky can come too.
Yeah, he can.
Terrifying.
I agree. That is pretty scary. So yeah, sure.
All right. Chris Redar said, "When is Cran coming back on? Everyone loved the dentist episode. Never. Fuck you."
Don't be mean to my brother like that.
When you have a schedule that somehow works with both me and Kits.
This is what
extreme challenge.
And I've asked Shane many times to do this. Just quit your job.
Yeah, and this is
it's not that hard.
The reason Shane's on this podcast all the time is he has nothing else better to do. He'll be like, yeah, I'll get fuck work. I'll come on. No, I wanted to have Chris back on for a while. It's just work schedules are impossible between the three of us.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, I think Chris is finishing work by the time we're done recording.
Right.
And John, who did our theme song, is asking about when we're gonna do Wolf Cop again. And also never.
We should do Wolf Cop again.
No, I don't know why. I always think about it, but then I'm just I don't know. Let's watch something somehow worse. Well, I assume.
I think to the not that we haven't done some movies that obviously are on the same level, but I do feel that's one of those typical ones where people always are expecting it, and we're not going to do that. You know what I mean? We've talked about that a few times, Troll and whatever else, but.
Yeah, because I've never seen the Wolf Cop movies, and anytime I've ever just hovered over, I'm yeah, maybe today's the day. I'm I don't know if I want to get into this, and I always just find something else to watch. So,
also a cab. So
yeah,
sorry. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, all wolves are bastards.
Hey.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're a wolf girl. All right. All of these are from Instagram, BT Dubs. So the final girl next door, Sheraton from Trash Blood Fire podcast, asks, "What movie surprised you the most this year, good or bad?"
Oh,
my memory's too bad for this question.
So, I think
Death Toilet 5.
Yes, there you go. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, Run and Kill was a first time watch for me this year. Because I'm just going. I'm not going. Because I think I watched like 5 movies from 2023. So spoilers from whenever we do our best movies Patreon episode. That list is not going to be great. But like at least like a first time watch thing, like Run and Kill for me was probably one like the highlight this year.
Sure.
Like, let me see. I'm trying to. I was gonna go and sort my Letterboxd diary and see what my highest rated stuff was for some first time watches.
I'm gonna say for me, I don't know if I could pick just one. I'm gonna say I didn't expect this to be bad, but I didn't expect to like it as much as I do, and that's Saint Drogo.
Yeah.
And then another one for me would be Chompy and the Girls. Like,
yeah,
that was pretty good.
That was a delightful surprise.
That I expected to be total trash, and it was like actually so like unique and endearing. That last year's kind of hard because of our schedules, there was a lot that I specifically wasn't a part of, and then we wasted, but a lot of it was like Nightmare on Elm Street, and then we did like movies we wanted, Mystery Men.
Yeah, Mystery Men. That's the answer. We all watched Mystery Men for the first time.
Yeah.
Let's see. So for me, it's like Run and Kill. Like I said, was a highlight. M for the bonus episode we did, I fucking loved. Viva Erotica was another one. That's like I was like a blind buy from I forget which partner label Vinegar Syndrome had it put out. But that's like a sort of like comedy drama about the making of a Cat 3 movie that was really good. This was the year I got into On Cinema. So all of that, all of the Oscar specials. But Mr. America, the like mockumentary thing about Tim Heidecker running for whatever fucking position it was, is pretty great. Yeah.
The Crow's Salvation.
Woof. Fuck that whole franchise. So
Twilight.
much. I have almost like an entire month of the year where the only thing I watched was like the whole entire On Cinema. Like,
you watched all those Santo movies?
Yeah. I don't know if any of those were like a real like 5-star, but those are all like they're all at least fun.
I'm
Suburban Sasquatch.
No, yeah, I'm just gonna keep all my answers podcast centric because I could not for the life of you tell you anything I watched last year.
I literally let's see, how many days span was this? March 26th through April 3rd was literally just me watching all of the Cure home video releases and live concerts.
Hell yeah.
I had a fucking very weird year watching stuff. Like, I don't have a lot of like really new things until like relatively recently in my watches for the year, because like a lot of my watches were at work where I would just put on stuff I had like at least a familiarity with, so I like if I was doing something work related, it if I was missing something, it wasn't a huge deal. Oh, Attack of the Beast Creatures, that was another first time watch. Movie fucking rocks. Kit, did you answer?
I had jokingly said Death Toilet, but looking at everything we did this year, I think it actually is Death Toilet. That was the one I was most pleasantly surprised by.
Yeah, I mean, as far as movies that were like released this year, that and Saint Drogo were my two highlights.
Also, Twilight.
Thank you.
What's that this year?
Pleasantly surprised by some sweet baseball.
Yeah, finally a good baseball movie was made.
Right?
I don't even know what fucking movies we did this year. I'm trying to scan at the bottom of the actual list.
It's bad. It was a bad year. We did Stonados this year, which I completely forgot about.
Scanner Cop 2, legit, is on my list.
Banger.
Yeah.
One that I'm glad we got to cover this year, even though it wasn't new to me, was Spiders. Getting all the spiders was delightful.
I loved Spiders.
And Marabunta, even though that's a terrible film.
Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. It's a first time watch for me.
That was a rough one for me. Oh, I would say also, by going off of that though, Pig I really liked, and Mandy. Actually, first time watches for me.
Yeah, I would say for the movies we actually covered this year, like finally getting to do Freaked was good.
Mm-hmm.
Pig.
Yeah.
Pig's always fucking a good watch. That queer horror episode Katie and I did of Cruising, Nightbreed, and Knife Plus Heart.
Yeah.
Was good. Those are all bangers. Cruising was the first time watch for me this year too, and that movie's incredible. The Haunting of Sharon Tate, was that this year or was that last year?
I think that was last year.
Oh yeah, that says pre-Christmas, so The Reconciler may have been this year.
I think that was the first movie this year, The Reconciler.
What
Which
a run.
I completely forgot what that is.
What
I
a
saw
run.
the name and was like, I don't know, whatever.
Hold on, what a run of The Reconciler, Scanner Cop 2, Freddy Got Fingered, Vampire Riders, Tenacious D, and The Pick of Destiny. What a real up and down.
I saw, like, you know, like sometimes on Tubi it'll be like watch again, and I saw The Reconciler on there and I was like, what the fuck was that? It was that like Christian Saw movie. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
with
terrible.
Roddy Piper in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And he's the office guy in there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, he was like
Insane.
the newspaper editor,
Yeah.
fucking director, whatever. Just starts telling his journalists who write about Jesus, I guess.
That literally
was weird.
insane. Yeah.
All right. Next one. At Parkit Bees, Parker on Instagram wrote favorite serious film director each. Love listening to y'all while studying. I can't imagine that helps your grades.
I know.
I mean, John Carpenter, I guess, is probably like all time. Although I don't know how I take the term serious filmmaker.
Right.
Because like I feel like if that's the case, I'm just thinking like Paul Thomas Anderson or some like people that take themselves like overtly seriously. Well, I mean, John Carpenter is like my favorite director probably of all time, and then just like it's not like he doesn't make goofy movies, so I guess that one counts.
Yeah, I'd say JC's like my number one overall, and my favorite like genre director. But if you want to step outside of genre directors, probably Michael Mann.
I was gonna say maybe Verhoeven, but I haven't seen any of Verhoeven's like pre-America stuff. I don't think so. But I mean, his like, God, his fucking run in the 80s and 90s is pretty untouchable. And even into now, like,
yeah,
dude's just fucking
Benedetto's fucking incredible.
Like, yeah, I have like a real soft spot for Paul Thomas Anderson. Although I don't think I've seen his last two. But like Boogie Nights, Magnolia, fucking Punch Drunk Love is like one of my favorite movies.
Heart 8's super underrated.
Yeah. Like Wes Anderson I also love, despite again not having seen his last like two movies. I have a fucking Life Aquatic tattoo, so I feel like I have to say him. Michael Mann's a good pick, although I can't say I'm like super familiar with his whole filmography, but I've seen like a good portion. Like Heat alone kind of just puts you in that
right
category.
You're already up there.
But like The Keep is an underrated banger.
Ferrari was super good.
I'm very interested to see what Heat 2
is going to be. I need him to make that because I love the book. Michael Mann, stay alive. Please.
I let like a bunch of podcasts pile up over like the holidays and stuff. So once I get caught up on that, I've been like, I'm trying to like get into some more audiobooks this year. And I'm hoping there's like, I want to listen to Heat 2 because I'm assuming there's an audio for it. So
the narrator for the audiobook of Heat 2 sounds insane.
Good, I'm in.
Like, they're ready to rock and roll at the drop of a hat. It's like, all right, fuck yeah, give me 500 pages of that, please.
Well, I think
have you considered doing audiobooks, kid? I think it's
my calling.
Write your Catfish Velociraptor book, and then you will just also do the audiobook.
Ridley Scott.
This is a good plan.
Ridley Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Katie, did you answer?
I didn't because I feel unqualified. I have sort of like talked about this where like I never paid attention to directors until probably like
just say Wes
this
Craven.
year or last year. Absolutely not. I know it's not Wes Craven. I feel like it is kind of like a cop-out for me to also say John Carpenter, but I feel like if I'm like, I'm sure that there's other directors that I really like, but he comes to mind as like, if I think about him in a movie, I probably like the movie versus like other people who have done some movies that I really liked and then like I don't, you know what I mean? I think I would also say maybe Guillermo del Toro.
Oh yeah.
But
it's weird. Like, it's weird because like Del Toro is one of those people that like I don't know, like I don't think of as serious director for whatever reason, despite the fact that he obviously is. But he seems like one of those people that like just like I don't know. I feel like for some reason in my mind I'm like, who seems like they'd be miserable actually making their movie?
Yeah,
and it's like John Carpenter for some reason because he just seems angry and grumpy all the time.
He'd rather be anywhere else.
Right.
And Del Toro seems like somebody who's just like having a blast on set the whole time.
Sure. I think I don't know. I have to.
I mean, I feel like John Carpenter is probably I feel like a perfect answer because he has one bad movie in his entire career, and then he was like, "All right, I'm done making movies."
Are you talking about The Ward?
Yeah, The Ward's pretty brutal.
Terrible. I will say I hesitate This is one of the movies that I've watched in the last like couple weeks or whatever on maybe it was New Year's Eve. Chris made me watch Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Not for me. Not for me at all. That's why I hesitate to say Ridley Scott because
I mean, Ridley Scott's got a pretty wild filmography when you look at it as like a whole. But like outside of like, so for me, like Blade Runner is one of those movies that like I'm not a big fan of like the story, but I do like the way it looks is incredible. Like the score is great. Like the whole concept is good. Like everyone in it is good. I just don't. Something about the story has never grasped me. So like, I don't know, but I still like I'd say at least from like a directing standpoint, that movie is pretty great.
You know, maybe I take it back because now I'm like looking at some of the other movies, and I haven't seen a ton outside of Alien, but I do love Matchstick Men. That's like one of my favorite like movies of my younger years. 2003, woof. And I liked Thelma and Louise, but like didn't like Hannibal.
I like Hannibal. It's not as good as the book, but I thought it was fine.
Compared to Silence of the Lambs and that
sure.
Manhunter, it's like
comparing almost anything to those two movies is a mistake because they're both pretty perfect.
Did you guys see the Napoleon movie? Maybe that's too
Not yet. I'm waiting. I think it comes out on Apple in the next couple weeks.
I had no
interest see it so bad
until he started doing like giving like people were asking him about like the French accents or whatever and not having it. He was like, "Who the fuck cares?" Like
seriously. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think we're at the point. It's 2024 now. But I feel like we're at the point where, like, if you can't do a good accent, just don't. Like, we don't need people to be doing fake, terrible accents now. Do you know what I mean? Just, it's fine. Yeah. Everybody knows it's fine. Let's skip it. I don't know. And then, you know, he does a bunch of movies that I just literally, like, could not care less about. Gladiator, Black Hawk Down, like, any of that stuff. But I'm gonna say he's probably up there. I feel like I'm missing somebody, like, really...
Steven Kostanski.
Yes, there you go. Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hands down.
All right. Caitlin asked, are you trying to indoctrinate the next generation into Scatman John fandom? Yes.
Yes.
We need to try harder.
On Christmas.
This year, every single episode can end with Scatman.
Yes. On Christmas this year, like we were over at their nephew's house or whatever, and like one of Caitlin's nephews is always like, "Oh, play like this song, play this song, let's watch this video or whatever." And it's always like Beyonce or Lady Gaga or whatever, and they're like dancing, and I'm like, "You gotta like make them listen to like good music." And so I put on Scatman John, and now they're all like slightly obsessed with it. And I was like, "Hell yeah!"
That is like actually so like coded for children too, because it's like the repetition and like the crazy noises, you know.
Yeah,
it's like
plus a bunch of his lyrics are actually about how everybody should be less terrible.
And I think that's a really important lesson for your children, because I think inherently children start out terrible and they just become better or they don't. And you know, I think that Scatman is just like kind of like an elevated version of Crazy Frog, so easy.
Scatman also had his dick out all the time, like Crazy Frog.
Well, yep,
exactly. And normally I'm not okay with it, but you know, it's educational purposes, so.
All right, Jeremy asked, what was your favorite physical media release of 2023? Katie?
Oh, that's hard.
Katie, you got an answer for this?
I don't
know if you've bought. You don't think you've bought a physical media release?
No, I was literally about to say I don't think I even physically purchased anything. Let me think about it. You
you
answer.
got the Flash box set.
Oh, I did get I got that for Christmas though, so I don't know if that counts, but I would
I don't
definitely
think
say
that
it's
came
my
out this
favorite
year.
physical medium. Oh no. Actually, it might have because the last season aired this
Oh yeah,
year
maybe. Yeah, probably.
or last year. It is not 2023 anymore. So I think technically that is true.
Well, there you go.
But let me think about it more.
For me, like just sheer breadth of and scope of like the releases, the Severin release of the Black Emmanuel movies. Like that box set is insane. Something like 16 discs or some shit in it, like 20
Wow.
something movies. There's like 2 CDs of like soundtrack stuff, and there's like I don't know, 200-page book it came with or something with like essays and interviews and stuff. It's just like one of the most like massive box sets I've in like recent memory for me. Vinegar Syndrome's Made in Hong Kong Volume 1 was really good. Visual Vengeance, still killing it. All their releases, like, despite how maybe I feel about like the actual movie, like their actual releases are super like jam packed with bonus features and all kinds of stuff. So I always like when they release something new, and they did Lichen Colony this year. So
Right? A plus.
um, yeah, like Vinegar Syndrome's last couple drops have been like a bunch of like cool stuff, like Existenz getting the like nice Blu-ray, I think maybe 4K release.
Yeah.
I this week started digging into their Lost Picture Show box set, and it's like another one that's just like really like weird big box set that encompasses like just a wide range of stuff. I will have Error 40 or 4444's Fatal Termination Blu-ray. I like a lot. The movie is unhinged. Features a one of the most insane stunts I think I've ever seen in a movie, where somebody is actively holding a child in a speeding car by her ponytail out the window, and it's a real child. As they're just like
Oh my God.
speeding along, and I'm just like, this is and like while the mom is like on the hood trying to like stop them, it's wild.
Wow.
What about was some of yours, Kit?
Uh, so the two big ones are, say, probably the Severin, like 3 or 4 disc set of Cemetery Man,
Oh
which
yeah.
is fucking incredible. It looks great. The box is really nice. And the Vinegar Syndrome release of Existenz, the like specifically the big hard case one that comes with the like making of book,
Yeah.
like, and it has like a really gross like leathery skin texture to it. It's very upsetting.
They've been
Both of
killing it
those
with
are
packaging
fantastic.
this year or last year or whatever for the last little bit. They're like their actual boxes have just like it feels like really taken like a step.
So nice.
The Blade in the Dark one they released, where it's like the like diagonal cut pull apart box or whatever, is sick.
Yeah. Also gonna shout out Arrow's release of Tremors 2 Aftershocks.
Hell yeah.
Like nice big box too with the making of booklet and a bunch of special features, and like it has a map showing the like a diagram of the inside of a
Graboid.
yeah, the like little chicken walker graboids. I forget what they're called.
I'm trying to. There was a lot. Like I feel like almost everything I got from Vinegar Syndrome this year was pretty great. I feel like that was like a pretty big majority of the stuff.
Yeah, it was most
I
of what I
got.
ordered.
Like Severin, I don't know. Like they did a lot of like gothic horror stuff, which is not my really my thing, so I don't think I didn't really buy a whole lot for them this year. But yeah, that's Cemetery Man. I haven't actually like dug into watching any of the stuff, but like just the physical release of it is gorgeous, and then kind of a miracle that it's even out. I can't wait to actually like dig into that. Yeah, I don't know. Physical media, killing it. Jeremy, Katie, what? What, do you got an answer now?
No, I'm really, really racked my brain. I mostly like anything new that I bought this year, I thrifted most of it. So like, you know, I got really into reading last year and I thrifted most of my books. So none of it was like brand new releases, because then I also tried to just do like library, you know, use my library or whatever. So I didn't really like buy anything. The only thing that came out new that I bought was a video game, but it was a digital download, so that doesn't really count either. So I think, yeah, I guess The Flash.
All right.
Real beefy.
We're talking Ezra Miller Flash, right?
Definitely.
Jeremy also asked, what's your most anticipated movie of 2024?
Oh, Jeremy.
Ooh.
I mean, probably...
I don't even know what's coming out this year. Let me see.
What's the fucking... that Steve Kostansky's got a new movie coming out. It's like...
This year?
Freaky Frankie or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with like Connor as the lead, I believe.
Well, that's immediately my answer then. All right, let's see.
I keep seeing like a thing that goes like been going around that's like all of the horror movies coming out this year, and I was like, woof.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a good year for horror movies.
No.
It's like
for Ghostbuster movies, though.
Great.
It's also a terrible year.
Let's see what Rotten Tomatoes most anticipated.
I'm torn between it either being Dune 2 or Furiosa. Give me all the desert movies, please. Also, whatever the new Alien movie by Fede Alvarez is coming out.
I'm gonna
Romulus,
watch that,
it's
but
called?
I'm not. I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Ridley Scott told him it's fucking amazing, so
well, I mean,
he's on a roll.
Like
he's hating the French.
This is the thing. Like I'm pretty on board with all of the Alien stuff except for like Alien versus Predators, and even those are kind of fun still.
Yeah.
So like I'm on board. I don't know. I just want them to like just let fucking Ridley finish out whatever he was doing in those the Prometheus movies.
Oh my god, we're getting fucking Joker and Terrifier 3 in the same month?
Hell yeah.
That's too many clowns.
A year ago or so, Kraven the Hunter would have been on that list until I saw them talk about what it was, and I was like, hard pass, never mind.
Yeah, I'm like looking. There's a few things I'm interested in, whether they actually end up coming out this year or not. And it's mostly, I gotta say, there's 2 like Spider-Man titles, but I don't know if Beyond the Spider-Verse is gonna actually come out this year. I feel like no, and then maybe Madam Web.
Honestly, outside of whatever Kostansky has coming up, probably the Robert Eggers Nosferatu.
Yeah, that will be interesting. For you, National Treasure 3. There's just like so many sequels coming out of stuff that I didn't even know was like, oh, the Gladiator 2. Perfect.
Yeah, I had no idea that Ridley was doing that. I don't think it's going to be his original Gladiator 2 concept where like it's what's his name in heaven and he's trying to like get back to Earth or whatever. But that's fine, I guess.
Cruella 2, is that necessary? Maleficent 3, didn't even know there was a second. Something called Step Dude. Mufasa.
I doubt I'm going to enjoy it, but I'm going to say Lisa Frankenstein solely for the title.
Okay, yeah, I'm in.
That's a good title.
Yeah.
I
But knowing it's,
this could
I don't know, it's a Diablo Cody movie, and I don't know how I feel about a Diablo Cody like horror movie in 2024.
Out.
well, I'm interested in BioShock. I don't really know anything about it, but I'll probably watch it.
It's no Biodome, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, what is?
Return to Silent Hill apparently is a movie that's happening.
Well,
Y'all, we forgot what's clearly going to be the best movie of next year, and that's Eli Roth's Borderlands.
Yeah, oh my god.
What?
This is a fucking bad time. Like this, okay, so like I not to like, I know there's always, everyone releases like there's original movies every year, blah blah blah, whatever, and bitching about sequels and all that shit is like a moot point because they're gonna happen anyway. But let's see. This is from Fangoria's website, and these are a bunch of the movies coming out, horror movies for 2024 in a row: Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice 2, Smile 2, Terrifier 3. Like, just fucking, like, it's just the Strangers new trilogy. Like, it's just a bunch of fucking garbage. Like, another Saw movie, another Silent Hill. Like,
What do you do?
a new Omen fucking movie, apparently. Another Ghostbusters sequel. I just, come on.
Yeah.
Maybe Lisa Frankenstein will be good, and hopefully.
Well, yeah. I'm sure it doesn't, but when I hear the name Lisa Frankenstein, I immediately think of Lisa Frank.
No, I think that's what it's supposed to be, is like a Lisa Frank and Frankenstein.
Let me Google this.
I have not, like, obviously I don't think there's like a trailer or anything, but like that seems like extremely on brand for Diablo Cody.
Oh, no, I think this is like a teen movie.
Yeah,
A misunderstood teenager and a reanimated corpse embark on a murderous journey to find love, happiness, and a few missing body parts. There's nothing Lisa Frank about this.
Well, I don't think it's supposed to have Lisa Frank in it. I think it's just like a dumb pun title, like that. It's gonna be like a, younger generation sort of Frankenstein story.
I think that the zombie is Cole Sprouse.
I don't know who that is. So.
Oh. Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
That
Boys.
does nothing for me.
No, who?
Zach Morris?
They're twins.
Was he the sweet?
Yeah.
Too
they
sweet?
were the sweet. They're twins, and they were in the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, which was like a Disney show maybe, and then one of them was in what the fuck was that show called? Archie.
Riverdale.
What is that show called? Archie. Riverdale. He was.
Katie, tell your internet to catch up.
Yeah.
Oh, we may have lost her.
We lost her. She got roped into the sweet life. She never stood a chance.
Katie, what the hell? This is what happens. Take a month off. Your phone can't handle it. I guess
I also blame the upcoming sequel to Twister that I had no idea was happening.
Timely.
Twisters took her away.
Finally getting that Twisters sequel we've all been craving and yelling for. Are you still here?
Yeah, I've been here.
Oh, I don't know. If like you were not you either weren't talking or
Just,
like wasn't
vanished.
picking up, and then all of a sudden you just came in. It was just boo.
Well, I've been here the whole time. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, if you were talking, we didn't get any of it. So
It really doesn't matter. I was talking about two twin actors that I don't even care about.
All right. I actually researched this next question when we first got it in like the end of December, and now I don't remember what the movie was, so I'm gonna have to look it up.
Do the research.
Lori from Queer Horror Called asked, as the resident experts in shark attack movies, are there any dope queer shark attack films?
Oh, good
And
question.
my joke answer, but for real answer, because I think they're in love with each other, is Jaws. I think everybody in Jaws is trying to fuck everybody, including Bruce.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Did we talk about this on the episode? This sounds like a familiar question to me.
You and I probably, because I told you I fell down a rabbit hole, like researching queer shark movies, and literally all of them were about how, like, the entire Jaws franchise is about unrequited queer love, I guess. Or like people on Reddit whose like entire theories were about had like insane full breakdowns about how every fucking glance between like Brody and Quint and stuff. But there was an actual one that I came across. Oh, and then there's a bunch of people that King Shark and Harley Quinn cartoon.
Yes, that's why we were talking about that.
And that Shark Tale is an allegory for coming out as trans, I guess. I've never seen Shark Tale, so I can't.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Speak on that.
No.
But there was one I came across. It was an actual shark movie that just happened to, I think, had like a queer couple as the lead, and I don't remember what it was.
Quick Google from me brings up something called From the Depths.
Maybe that's what it was.
LGBT shark thriller, but of course I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
But yeah, it seems like there was like just that one movie, and like the extent of it was just that I think it was like a lesbian couple were the leads.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't, as far as I could tell, there's not anything real explicit or like overtly queer in all these shark movies. So now someone's got to write a gay shark movie.
I'm on it.
Yeah, so shark movies are they're kind of lagging behind the rest of society here.
Do
better shark movies.
Yeah, come on.
That should be the Monster Makeup's next movie, honestly.
Yeah, get on it, Brandon.
Shark movie.
Let's see. Where's my questions? Shad Youngblood from a Jump Scare podcast asked, "What's a bad movie that you would remake and make it good?"
Ooh. Event Horizon.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really contentious answer, but I stand by it. I could make Event Horizon good.
I think that's one of those movies that it sucks because it has such potential. And it's just, I've never enjoyed any time I've watched it.
Same.
And then everyone else, for some reason, is like, this is a masterpiece. And I'm like, I don't know what you're watching that I'm not, but... Trying to think. I'm trying to think of like a movie we've done on the podcast that I think was like horrendous that you could make better. I feel like you could possibly do like a Nightmare on Elm Street remake and make it good.
Yeah.
I feel like it just comes down to casting more than anything.
Yeah. My answer is Scariest Monsters in America.
Yeah, you just do a real list instead of...
You just actually try instead of putting zombies. Yeah, the problem with that is that, like, you have to care enough about the shitty movie. You have to have some level of passion for the story to, like, want to redo it and do it good, which I feel like is kind of, like, opposing, you know what I mean? Like...
I would remake Morbius. And I would have Jared Leto killed on screen in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, actually,
For real.
I do. I'm like not even being facetious right now. I feel like there were things that we came up with when we did the bonus episode that could have made that movie actually
Morbius
good.
is like a character that could be extremely sick if like treated well. But like
I think that's actually really a good answer.
But I feel like you could do like almost any of the bad comic book movies. You could literally just be like, well, I don't know, here's 30 years of character development in the comic books I could look at instead of just coming up with my own dumb bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Cabin Fever, but I would just make it Evil Dead.
I literally watched Cabin Fever and Cabin Fever 2 before we recorded today.
Weird.
why? It is weird.
I needed something fucking dumb to put on in the background, and I was like, oh, Cabin Fever just got added to HBO. And then it started auto-playing the second one, and I was like, hey, this is even better.
Woof.
I was just born to be alive, Katie, okay?
Yeah, kids just vibing.
Well, you know what? Do you? If
Yeah, I don't know. For me, like, I feel like a lot of... Because, like, the thing of, like, a lot of the bad movies we do on the podcast is, like... A lot of time they're just bad because it's just, like, there's, like... It's shit where you're just like, well, this is just lazy. Like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aimless.
Yeah, like... Because, like, if you if you look at, like, Mark Polonia's career, like, his early movies are kind of fun and, like... You know, they're not good, but they're fun. And then they just fall into that, I don't know, here's a CGI fucking shark, and now we're just making 20 Amityville movies. And it's just like...
Cash grab on the name kind of shit.
And so, like, a lot of that, it's, like, not worth talking about, because it's just like, well, I don't know, I would just put some effort in instead of just trying to pump out a movie in a week and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
not a lot of effort,
and then,
but a little.
Like, a lot of the problem I have with, like, a lot of horror movies, especially like the kind of bigger name ones that I think are bad, it's just like, I don't know, write better scripts, I guess. Like, that's my biggest problem with like a lot of the Blumhouse stuff is it's just like, so much of it just feels like, I guess again, like lazy, where they're just like doing the bare minimum to like pump out like a 90-minute movie. And especially as of late, where it feels like they're trying in a very corporate way to be like, no, we're allies. Here's they/them that doesn't treat any of this stuff properly or well or whatever. And like, I don't know. It's just a lot of the stuff that I feel like has a good premise enough to maybe be like, hey, I could see a remake of this being good. Like, just, I don't care if they would do it, because it's just stuff that just seemed like it was lazy to begin with, and I don't need a remake of. I don't know. Just don't stop remaking shit. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to remake a movie unless it's like 100 years old. Like, that should be the new rules. It has to pass like the 100-year mark, and now you can like update it.
It has to be a black and white film in order for you to remake it.
Like, there was
a silent film.
There was something that just got announced recently that like American remake coming this year as a movie that came out like last year. And
and it was an American movie too.
Yeah, and I was just like,
was,
what are we fucking
Speak
doing?
No Evil.
Yeah,
from Shudder.
Like, why? What are we doing? Just like, there's got to be so many fucking just like scripts out there that could be made into like an original horror movie, and instead we're just gonna remake some shit like that came out a year ago,
2 years ago. Yeah,
you know, like, it's just, and especially when it's like something where it's just like, just watch the fucking movie with subtitles, America. Like,
now,
bleak. I would remake Beetlejuice.
No.
And I would put, let's see, who would I have to play Beetlejuice?
Danny DeVito.
I was literally gonna say Danny DeVito.
I was trying to think of like a younger actor that...
Danny DeVito.
Zendaya.
Yes, 100%. I know you're kidding. I'm on board. Let's do it.
I would have Anna Taylor-Joy play every character in that movie.
Yeah, I'm down.
Did anybody not answer that?
Technically me, but I just agreed with
Morbius.
Yeah.
I would remake Spider-Man 3 with more dancing.
No.
The entire thing's a musical.
Oh, you know what?
All emo hair.
Yeah.
I'm here for the emo hair. I'm not here for a musical. I think that maybe a good answer for me too would be Amazing Spider-Man 2, the worst Spider-Man movie. I think I could do a much better job. No offense.
I would remake 98 Godzilla, but I would have Matthew Broderick play Godzilla.
Get out of here.
He has to be in a suit, and he has to do all the roaring sounds.
Yes.
I'm gonna Google what my arch nemesis is up to.
Jean Reno can play everyone else.
Yes. Except Hank Azaria is the only person that gets to come back.
Yeah.
All right. My mom wants to know what Lex's favorite horror movie is, so I figured we could expand that into Hooch, Maytel, and Berlin as well. Lex's favorite horror movie is obviously Birdemic.
Makes sense.
Although I've not seen that movie, so...
It's real bad.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
You might be surprised to hear.
Kit, what do you think Hooch's favorite horror movie is?
I don't think I know that it is Poltergeist. Because I put on Poltergeist, and he sat there and he watched like 40 minutes straight of Poltergeist. Like uninterrupted, sat on the couch with me just staring at the TV.
Lex is only into cartoons and reality TV shows. If like Love Island is on, he will sit and just stare at the TV for like 30 minutes at a time, or if cartoons are on. The rest of the time he'll just walk by and be like, I don't know what this is, goodbye.
Aw, you don't know my show was. As I've mentioned previously, Merlin does not recognize that the TV is something that exists, so he does not. He doesn't even know. He does not even register that horror movies exist. Maytel, I think her favorite. She's like my ride or die bitch. She's always, no matter what I watch, she's sitting on my lap watching it with me. So she watches everything, and I think that if she were to, I think that maybe The Exorcist, because she's a crazy bitch. She loves to run downstairs, and skinamarink. Actually, I do call. This doesn't really make any sense, except in my brain. But I do call like that. You know how sometimes when cats get the zoomies, they'll run kind of like on their tiptoes, and it's like, and it makes that like sound, and I called that her skinamarink, and like she's skinamarink around. So maybe it's skinamarink. She did lay with me when I watched that. But yeah.
Was she also confused the whole time?
No, I think she understood it on a deep level. She's like she's very sophisticated.
Makes sense.
Merlin, I think, might also say The Exorcist if he knew that TV was a thing, because he likes to throw up a lot. So
same.
Yeah. So.
All right. UA Law 99. Why am I blanking on this guy's name? Shane, maybe? What is your favorite film that features a haunted inanimate object? Haunted, I don't know.
Carousel.
Yeah. The Robert the Doll movies are real stupid, but kind of fun, because there features one of the dolls has just got a skeleton head and carrying a machine gun, which rocks.
Oh, I might have to go with Deathbed, the bed that eats.
Yeah.
Also pretty good.
Like, my favorite inanimate object movies are the Killer Tomato movies, but those aren't haunted.
Yeah, that's not haunted.
Right.
Let's see, I'm gonna look up.
This is also maybe stretching the definition of haunted, but I think my legit choice is In Fabric. In Fabric fucking rips.
You mean that movie I haven't seen because I thought it was Phantom Threads, and I watched Phantom Threads for 2 hours expecting it to come alive and kill people? I'm familiar.
Yes, but you should also be thankful for In Fabric to get you watching Phantom Thread, which also rips.
Okay, fair, but you could see the dilemma when I thought that I was watching In Fabric, which I still haven't seen, so...
Oh, duh, Christine.
She, like, poisons him. Basically the same thing.
Right, I mean, fair.
Oh, Christine.
Yeah, Christine, for sure.
Beyond,
I'm
Beyond
trying
the
to
Gates
think...
rocks. Child's Play, I guess, technically is a haunted object.
Yeah, I would say.
Down and The Lift are both bangers.
Yeah, The Lift. They shot a rocket into an elevator. Like, you can't top that.
Yeah.
Cinematically speaking.
Down has like some weird goopy human body parts growing out of an elevator shaft or something. I bought a vampire motorcycle rocks.
I think, of course, I literally just was talking about The Exorcist, but I would say maybe also The Exorcist.
Wait, why is Titan on this list?
Isn't
Yeah,
the
what?
car? Isn't there like
the
a
car's
car
not
thing?
like haunted. She just like fucks a car.
Yeah,
Oh.
and gets pregnant from it.
Yeah, it happens.
Maximum
You gotta
Overdrive.
use protection.
I don't know if this counts, but I think serious answer for me would be Brain Scan. It's like a. It's like a.
haunted.
It's
Yeah,
like,
I keep seeing it on these lists.
it's like
Either
that-
way, fucking banger of a film.
Yeah, and I will go back and say not a new movie, obviously, but I watched it for the first time last year and it blew my fucking mind. I think it's like up there with one of my favorite movies now.
Amityville 1992, It's About Time.
Oh, yeah.
Of
Haunted
course, we
Block.
forget that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you-
Christine's probably, I feel like, the best, at least for me.
Yeah,
on the
'cause I
list.
think-
I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think there's like a fine line. You can say something's haunted, but like to me, it goes beyond just like, I don't know, like a Ouija board.
Yeah,
right.
like a bunch of these lists have like Evil Dead, and I'm like, yeah, I guess, but like
I don't.
that's not.
Yeah,
like,
I
also
don't
I don't
know.
know. Like I kind of feels like a little bit of a stretch too, or like Hellraiser.
Oh, someone says the tape from The Ring. That's
Oh, The Mangler, obviously.
yeah.
Ah.
The Mangler, yeah.
Mangler
The,
slaps.
Yeah, it does.
What was that? What was that sofa
Killer
movie? The
Sofa.
sofa. Yeah, the sofa from Killer Sofa. No, I think. I don't know. I think if Brain Scan counts for me, it's Brain Scan. Otherwise, I would say maybe something like, literally like The Exorcist.
All right.
I feel Poltergeist also a good one.
Yeah, like there's like a lot of haunted
Yeah,
movies.
it's like Haunted House.
Like the thing is like
Yeah.
a lot of those movies, like that, like all the Amityville ones, is like I feel like there is an object that gets haunted in it, but it's not like the premise of the movie, like Killer Sofa is, or like Christine.
Right.
Right.
And so
yeah.
like I try to like I just kind of don't count those as much for whatever reason.
I guess
This
I
is
guess
the first time anyone's ever uttered Christine and Killer Sofa in the same sentence.
True. And I guess there's a difference. I'm kind of getting it conflated with like a cursed item, which
Yeah.
is not the same. Like a cursed item actually would be The Exorcist. So, yeah, I don't know.
All right, last question from Social Caterpillar. Ashley said, "What do you guys think of book to movie adaptations? Best/worst?"
Mhm.
Generally, I'm a fan because it's very different mediums. So, like, you can do something really interesting with the book that you don't get to do with the actual book.
Yeah,
So, I think they're generally always a good idea,
I'm
even the insane ones.
like ambivalent. I like, at least off the top of my head, I can't, like, I'm not like, oh god, I can't believe they're turning that book into a movie, sort of like I am with like remakes. But I also like,
Yeah.
anytime I see one, I'm like, all right, well, fine, I guess, whatever. Like I'm like I don't think I have a strong stance either way. But obviously best. Twilight.
I was gonna say Katie's gonna say Twilight.
Definitely.
I feel it.
Twilight, actually, I have two real answers also. Twilight, I'm gonna go with. I think for me, like, when I was younger, if I saw that they were making a movie adaptation of something, I was definitely a little snobbier about reading. So I'd be like, oh, how shallow and pedantic. Do you know what I mean? But I think that, like, as an adult, like, obviously not everybody likes to read. And sometimes people, I think that, like, adapting books into movies is in general, a good idea. Because you're giving that accessibility to other people that, like, for whatever reason can't or don't like to read, right? And so you are taking something, and, like, not everybody can read a book and, like, visualize the things that were happening in it, right? So sometimes it just, like, doesn't translate. And with movies, you can do that visually, and sometimes you can do very cool stuff. And I think that, like, as long as you are somebody who can, like, take the movie and the book as, like, separate things, then I think it's, like, fine. But I do feel like, for me, a lot of times whatever I like better usually depends on what I've seen. Like, if I've read the book first and then seen the movie, probably I like the book better. But if I've seen the movie first and then I read the book, a lot of times I like the movie better. So I don't know if it's just because, like, I was introduced to the info that way. But I think more often than not, my opinion is that the books are always better. However,
I was going to ask if anyone had one where they thought, like, the movie was better.
I have two.
I have one.
I have two. Mine is going to be, and I actually think I talked about this on our last Q&A that, like, just me and Nathan did. Red Dragon, the book, which is, like, the very first book in the Hannibal Lecter series or whatever. I think Manhunter is a way better version, the movie, than that book is, because I reread it and it's actually kind of trash. And I hate to say that because I remember reading that in high school and feeling like this is the best thing I've ever read. It just doesn't age very well. My other one is the story The Woman in Black by Susan Hill, who was one of my favorite, like, gothic horror story authors or whatever. I think that the movie with Daniel Radcliffe is better than the story. It's just, like, I don't know. It is hard to say that the movie is better because, like, obviously the source material is, like, what the movie came from, but I just think it's better. And then Twilight is a good example because, but obviously that's, like, a little bit different because it's, like, a young adult situation. And some of the writing is a little cringy. I will admit I haven't reread Twilight since I was, like, a young adult, but the movies are just so good. I don't know how you can.
I think one of the problems is that, like, so many of the movies, like, either miss the point of the book or, like, change it to the point where I'm like, well, this is just, like, not at all.
Yeah.
But, this isn't necessarily, this is, like, more of a comic book adaptation, but, like, I think, like, Watchmen, where I'm like, Watchmen, I do like the movie, but Zack Snyder fundamentally does not understand that book or those characters. He just has the right amount of dumb guy energy to pull it off somehow. But, like, I think Fight Club is a better movie than book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
Like, let's say there's so many fucking, like, I was looking at a list of book to movie adaptations, and it's just so much, like, young adult stuff in the last, like, 20 years. Watership Down is a pretty fucking incredible adaptation. Yeah. It's also
I like
fucking
Secret of
bleak.
Also, along that same line, Secret of Nim.
I gotta get out of the fucking 2000s because this is just a bunch of posters that look exactly the same.
I think for me too, the way that I enjoy it more is that I'm not saying that these are the movies I enjoy, but this is just, like, an example of it, where they take the idea of a story. So in the early 2000s, they did this a ton with like Shakespeare, which, as you guys know, I do not like. But they took like the story of Taming of the Shrew, and then they made 10 Things I Hate About You, and they like did all of these like essentially rom-coms with the base idea of like whatever the play was, and then made a movie based off of it. And not that I don't like Shakespeare, and not that I'm saying these movies are what I like, but I kind of like that better, where they kind of like, for example, here's another one. This is not a movie though. Haunting of Hill House. I love the original story. I think that the show is way better. But it's kind of like the same thing where they take the idea of the story and they take the names of the characters, and then they really just essentially write their own story with just that basis. And I think for me, that works way better because you're not like trying to please. I think that a lot of the oversight comes from them trying to like please fans of whatever it is. You know what I mean? So like maybe, but the thing, when they change the endings, that really, really, really pisses me off.
Unless it's
like,
a Stephen King one, because I feel like usually it's a better ending somehow.
That's actually very fair.
I was going to say, as far as it goes, like the worst aspect, I feel like most Stephen King adaptations are worse than the book somehow.
Yeah, I will say, one of the only things that I think of that I can say is like equally as good, in my opinion, would be like Pet Sematary. I think I love the book and I love the movie both, and I think that is a really good example of like an adaptation done actually well. And I am struggling to think of another one.
Well, there's also like a lot like
The Shining.
I surprisingly have not read The Shining. That's like one of my only ones I haven't read.
I haven't read it either, and I don't know that I really care to, because I like the movie version so much. It's gonna be
Yeah.
There's
all right, Steven, we get it. You do cocaine.
There's also like on like the horror aspect of it. There's so many like when you're looking at like book adaptations, it's like so much Dracula and Frankenstein and stuff like that. Sure. Where I'm just like there's so much of it that it hits a point where you're just like, I don't even know like I couldn't tell you what was from the book in the lore at this point, because there's so much fucking lore around Dracula that I'm like, I don't even remember what of this was from the book.
Yeah.
And like how it would compare, like watching like, you know, Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula at this point compared to the book. Or like, cause like there's also stuff like, you know, like fucking Flesh for Frankenstein and Blood for Dracula, where I'm like, well, I know this is like nothing like the books, but like it's still kind of an adaptation.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it is a little bit different when you're talking about something like like a big property, like a Universal monster, where there's just like so much spin-off of it.
Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
Okay, yeah.
Dracula Dead and loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Honestly, I feel like pretty close adaptation from what I remember.
It is. I agree.
That movie rocks. Yeah, like once you get into kind of like the 2000s, so much of this is just shit that's just like I have no reference for, because it's just weird young adult novels, like post like Hunger Games, when it just started being like everything all these major studios were making. There's so many Winnie the Pooh adaptations.
Let's see.
I haven't read the book, but No Country for Old Men, I feel like a lot of people talk about.
It's an incredible film adaptation of the book. Like, it's, to me, there's two ways you can view it. Like a good adaptation of a book, and it's, you know, it takes the book and translates it into cinematic terms, and there's more literal, like, this is just what the book is. And No Country for Old Men is like the most direct adaptation of a novel I've ever seen. But the Coen brothers just absolutely nail like the aesthetic and vibe of it.
Um, I like the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo movies. I don't.
I haven't seen
I
or read those.
read the first book, but I don't remember a lot about it at this point. As a comparison.
Yeah.
But I like the movies. I think they're pretty good. I can't tell you if they're super faithful or not.
Yeah,
I
not
only
the
ever saw the
hardcore
Fincher one, but I liked it.
Stephen King, but also Misery, both good.
Yeah, Misery and Carrie. I
Yeah.
think are both like Carrie. From what I remember, is a better adaptation than like a better movie than the book.
Mm-hmm.
Pet Cemetery, Bloodlines.
Christine.
Yeah,
Bloodlines.
Christine again.
Yeah. Some of those get tough too because if it was like like a short story or whatever, this new dog next door is literally going ham. Obviously, something like Pride and Prejudice, I think I like the movies better, but those are a little harder to digest as written word, if you will. I don't really have any opinion on the Hunger Games. I think I did read the Hunger Games whenever they came out, and I think they left. I don't know. I think they left a lot of really cool stuff out of the movies, but I've only seen the movies like one time, so I don't really know that I have.
I have not seen or read any of those, so.
Schindler's List.
Not read. Had to sit through the
Or
movie.
watched.
Did not want to watch ever again.
Yeah, so that came out in 1993, and my parents took me to the movie theater to see it.
I remember watching it on TV when like whatever channel did like a no commercial break run of it, like uncensored on TV.
Kit, have you read like the Lord of the Rings books?
I've read Fellowship, and I was planning on reading the other two this year. So I've got all of them. I just haven't read them.
Yeah. I tried to read The Hobbit when I was like way too young, and I was like, I literally don't even understand what I'm reading, and I put it aside, and then I just like never picked it back up. But those movies I feel are pretty good. Obviously, yeah. I mean, I think that goes without saying for most of us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're all pretty pro adaptations, although I would say most of them it's just so much of them are such a different beast from like book to movie that it's like it's hard to.
That's why I'm so pro it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm pro it in general, but like even like looking through that list, so much of it I'm like, these are bad movies.
Right.
Or they're just like, it's just once you hit like the last 10 years, like I said, it's just all young adult novels with like the same looking poster art that I'm just like, I know this is just going to be a mostly CGI mess dealing with trauma.
Yeah, it's Harry Potter again.
Yeah, dealing with someone's fucking trauma that they're not understanding till the end of the movie or some shit.
Yeah, young adult, or like a lot of times, I don't know, Trainspotting was a book. I'm going to read that. A lot of times it's like a book that is like I'm trying to think like a not a mass market book, but like a book for like, just any person who is going to buy a book at the airport, kind of like slice of life kind of stuff. And it's just like not the kind of stuff that I read in general. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to watch an adaptation of it because, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that matters, but.
All right.
I don't know. Do what you want.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm saying. Do what you want, and it's fine.
Thanks to everybody that asked questions. I had one more from Al Werewolf Face that just says D's nuts. So I don't know if you guys want to touch on that or. Fucking weirdo.
I thought for sure that I asked you if we were down with the sickness.
No, that was the last
time. But that must have been the last time, so I was expecting you to say that, and I don't have any response for why I said that, to be honest with you.
Assuming you were drunk.
Who knows?
It was 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, so.
Yeah, you know me.
Turn up.
Um, all right. What
I was probably drunk on Mucinex, to be honest with you.
Katie, what have you watched in the last month?
Oh man. Well, I'm just gonna blanket say most of it was probably Christmas movies, like leading up to. Did I talk about how I watched Feliz Navidad,
No.
the movie with Mario Lopez?
No, you did not talk about
With
that.
okay, well, you'd think with a title like Feliz Navidad, it would be good, but it wasn't. It was very bad, hard to watch. I watched Scrooge. I think I did talk about that. I watched that documentary Love Has Won, The Cult of Mother God.
Oh, it's so good.
You and I talked about it when I was watching it, and then I also made Tiffany watch it. Wildly insane. I do like I if you like documentaries, and cults, I challenge you to just watch the documentary without looking up anything about it because it is really insane. And I do remember like this stuff being in the news, but like I don't know, just go into it blind because
Yeah,
well,
I had no reference for anything about it, and just like randomly one night Caitlin and I were just looking for something to watch and put it on, and I was just like, we're not going to bed till we're done with these 3 episodes because this is the most unhinged thing I've ever seen.
really insane. And it is different, I feel like, than a lot of these cult documentaries because this is the only thing I'll spoil about it. Because you basically start with news coverage of like the thing that happens, and then the people who are being interviewed, it's like they're being interviewed now. And so you have like, you know, I don't know. It's so hard without giving it away. Just go watch it. It's really insane. This is like one of those cults that literally filmed everything because they had access to like social media so that they would do live videos, I think on YouTube, live streams. And so all of that. And at one point they were live streaming like 24/7 inside their house. And it's just like literally so insane. It's so crazy. The documentary I feel like is also done pretty well because they don't what's it called, like pull it out, whereas like a lot of these will be like 10 episodes and I'm like, okay, 6 of these are just telling me the same thing over and over again. I think they do a pretty good job of like giving you the info, having people testify about it or whatever, and then like moving on. So I think like the documentary itself is done pretty well. Then I don't remember when this came out. Years ago, I also watched the second part of that Curious Case of Natalia Grace, which was like that documentary about this girl that the family was trying to say it was like an orphan situation where she was trying to say she was 6, but that she was actually an adult or something. That family is fucking crazy. So they came out with.
Did you see they're making a 3rd orphan movie, by the way?
For why?
Why?
I don't know, but I hope this actress just continues to play the little girl when she's like 45.
I hope so. So they did a part 2 where essentially the girl who is like the center of the documentary in the first place, like she doesn't, in the first half of the documentary, she doesn't talk at all. Now she is actually like in her 20s, and so they did like Natalia Speaks, and so it's like her side of the story. And all I'm gonna say is that like I don't know that I really the people who adopted her are literally psycho perpetual liars. Like I don't believe anything that they say. And it's kind of like one of those things where like the more that people talk to you, you just like kind of don't believe anybody. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like done sloppy and it's like sensationalized, I feel like, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't really feel like if you watch the first half, you can watch the second. I kind of feel like it's a waste of time though. And then I don't know why, I got back into documentaries. And then I watched Shock Docs, Devil's Road, the true story of Ed and Lorraine Warren. I have some news for you. It is not the true story. I thought this was going to be like an expose type documentary about how like they were kind of pieces of shit. But the documentary is basically just like they were the best ever and we love them. And I was like, okay, trash. Then I rewatched Bubble Boy. I don't know. I was sick. Okay.
The John Travolta one?
No. No, the Jake Gyllenhaal one.
Oh.
I remember finding this movie extremely funny when it came out in 2001, and upon watching it at the end of 2023, it is very problematic. Don't really recommend. So moving on from that, then we watched Blade Runner. As I said, did not care for it at all. I think that my problem too is like I'm just not really a Harrison Ford fan.
Yeah, same.
He was making like duck lips the whole movie, and I was like, what's going on with that? It was very distracting. And then I think the only other new thing we watched is we finally watched Barbie. I wasn't really sure how I was gonna feel about it, but I ended up it's very good. People should watch it.
I feel like everybody's probably seen it except me at this point.
I don't know. I feel like there were definitely some things in it that did not work for me, but the overall, like, I really do feel, and this might be ironic because of if you watch the movie or you know what it's about, it may be counterintuitive to say, I really feel like Ryan Gosling was like the shining star of this movie to me. And
not Michael Cera.
Actually, Michael Cera was pretty funny in it.
Alan.
I wasn't like really sure what to expect, and I like jokingly before we watched it, I was like, okay, well apparently people say this movie is really emotional, so I don't know, we might cry. And there's like a part where what's her real name? It's not America, is it? Yeah, America. Yeah. Is giving this like long speech, and I was just like eating chips, and I just like start sobbing because it's like I don't want to give anything away, obviously, if people haven't seen it, but it just is like very speaks to like the experience that the movie is trying to kind of like put forth. So I think it was effective. I think it's really good.
Sounds woke, hard pass.
Yeah. That's fair.
Kit, what have you watched?
I've only watched 3 things,
Vanderpump
but all
Rules.
3 of them are perfect. Well, other than 10 seasons of Vanderpump Rules. I watched Dix the Musical, which is incredible. A+. Everyone go watch it right now.
I'm watching it right now.
All right. Good. You should be. Katie, you would hate it as a musical.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know if the name gave it away.
Oh, I wasn't sure. You never know.
I went and saw Ferrari. Super rad. And then Smoking Causes Coughing, which is Quentin Dupieux, I think is how you say his name. A guy who did Rubber. And it's like basically like a Power Rangers team, but they're like the tobacco force. And I don't really know if they're pro or anti-smoking because they're all named after ingredients of tobacco. And they like spew out tobacco fumes at bad guys until they explode. I don't know. It's very weird. And it rocks. Also, it's only like 78 minutes, so...
Yeah, I was like reading the synopsis, and it's very hard for me to tell what's... Yeah. Don't know.
Very strange. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Let's see. I watched John Carpenter live retrospective, which was a banger. High recommend. Watch John Carpenter dance to his own music.
I mean, go off, King.
I watched I think Agfa put this out, Shredder Orpheus, which is a skateboard rock opera that is sort of the telling of Orpheus and Eurydice. Very strange, but I loved it. High recommend. I can't recommend it to anyone specifically because it is just a baffling watch, but go watch it. It rocks. I also watched The Runner, the Boy Harsher movie. That is less movie and more like experimental film about the band, kind of. I don't know. It's another one's weird where it's like there's a storyline following this runner played by Chris from King Woman that is like killing people, and then there's just like weird shit of like the band practicing and doing interviews, and it's this weird experimental like 40-minute film, but the soundtrack rocks. High recommend. I rewatched all of Nathan For You, which is perfect and
show.
Then went into The Rehearsal, which is like one of the most bonkers things I've ever watched. Have you watched The Rehearsal, Kit?
Yes.
It's so strange. I had no idea, like, when you get in, like, by the time you get to the second episode, I was just like, what the fuck is this show? Also, high recommend. Very good. I watched Dead Guy Killing Music, which is a documentary about the band Dead Guy. Also very good. I watched Mail Order Murder, the story of Wave Productions, which... I forget who put this out. Another, like, a Vinegar Syndrome partner label, which is just documentary about Wave Productions, which was this, like, New Jersey-based horror production company that would, like, have fans script and finance custom-made horror movies, which slowly just kind of turned into, like, fetish stuff.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fucking interesting documentary. I watched Sons of Steel, which is a Australian biker / time travel musical, like rock opera. Also, like, I can't say I really liked it, but interesting watch. The Vinegar Syndrome Redneck Zombies release is a banger. I watched all of that.
So good.
It looks insane, all cleaned up. Like, it does not look like a VHS movie.
Right. Not what I remember.
Yeah, they did a fucking great job on cleaning that up. I also watched Vinegar Syndrome's release of The Untold Story 2, which I was very hesitant to watch because, like, I don't know, like, I knew it had, like, nothing to do with the first Untold Story other than Anthony Wong being in it playing a different character, and it's surprisingly good. It's like a pretty different tone while continuing to be like a Cat 3 movie. It almost plays like a Basic Instinct single white female style kind of erotic thriller while also being pretty gruesome. I've almost finished the Black Emmanuel box set. I think I have 2 movies left from that. And like I said earlier, I started diving into the Vinegar Syndrome Lost Picture Show box set. Watched the first movie in that, which is a movie called Barbara from 1970. That is a black and white movie that I liked but can't recommend to anybody. It's like just a weird sort of like anti-censorship sex movie that I don't know, I enjoyed, but I also feel like I'll never watch again. And then I think the last thing was Fatal Termination from 1990, which is a banger. High recommend everybody watch that movie. And the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City finale, which is maybe the best episode of reality TV I've ever seen. I need Kit to get through Vanderpump Rules so he can start watching that, because that show is fucking wild. one season.
Yeah, I can start. I'm done with VPR until the new season starts in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Salt Lake City, I recommend. One season,
God.
the one housewife gets arrested and goes to jail for fucking massive fraud on the elderly. This season, it's revealed that like one of the cast members has been like a notorious online troll and gathering information about them from the show. Like, incredible. TV. This is prestige TV. Fuck The Sopranos. All right. Shout outs. You guys have any you want to shout out?
Lex
is yelling about his dinner, so you're gonna have to wait like 10 more minutes, kid. Katie, who you want to shout out?
Okay, mine is kind of weird and old of me, but when I was sick, somebody recommended these like nighttime nasal strips that I have never used before in my life. But also I have a deviated septum, and it literally changed my life. Like, I put the first one on, and it's kind of like hard, right? And you put it on and it like lifts your fucking sinuses open, and I was like, is this the way normal people smell all the time? It
this what it is to breathe.
I like that phrase could have been taken either way, in that the way they breathe or the way they smell.
How do they smell?
I mean, yeah, and it was just so now I am like obsessed with them. But it did legit help me when I was sick, because it stops your sinuses from being like inflamed as much from like blowing your nose or whatever. So if you're sick or have a deviated septum, high recommend. It's life changing. Like, I can't believe I've never tried them before. So good.
What about you, Kit?
Breathing is my shout out, by the way.
Yeah. Air.
Overrated.
Fuck. I had one like an hour ago and I forgot. I'm gonna go with Dixie Musical.
There you go.
Don't Google it. Just watch it and prepare yourself for the Sewer Boys.
Oh.
Katie, you know what that is?
Definitely.
I don't. I'm old.
Watch it and find out.
Nope. I know a thing or two about a sewer boy.
I guess my shout out. I read Brandon from Death Drop Gorgeous and Saint Drogo and all that, and the Phantom of the Mall episode we did. I read his book, The White Bishop, in like one sitting, and it rocks. Very good.
Hell yeah.
I'm so excited.
Sometime this month I'll get your copies mailed out to you. I'm waiting to do like trying to get like gift exchange stuff so I could just do it all in like one go.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's really good and like really like I don't know, like I can't really explain it without like kind of giving it away, because it's not like a deep detailed story. It's like, I think it's only like 144 pages. But like there's just like a sense of like dread that from like the first page doesn't let up until the last page, and you're just kind of like reading this story where you're like, I kind of have an idea where this is going, and I hope this is not where it's going, but I know this is where it's going, and I just like waiting for it to happen, sort of thing. That like it's just like written really well. And I think he said that hopefully there's like an actual release date for when people can buy it outside of like seeing the Saint Drogo live stuff. So sometime this week I think there's supposed to be like a actual release date announced where people can buy it. All right, next week Katie and I are watching a movie called Vampire Clay that I assume is good.
It's about a guy named Clay who's a vampire.
Yep. Yeah, it's gotta be.
Classic Clay.
Yeah. Vampire Clay Aiken.
Classic.
That's the only Clay I think I can think of.
Vampire Claykin. I'm in.
All right, if you'd like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/hypesufferpodcast. You can listen to all the bonus episodes on there. We'll have one soon on a movie Katie's going to have to pick because it was a tie for her poll. So
Dun, dun.
Thanks a lot.
Quit giving us ties.
I know.
You can buy merch at our Store Frontier shop. You can leave us a rating and review on iTunes and Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram at Happy Suffer Podcast. You can follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery and Kitchification of Blood. You can follow Katie at Werewolf Face. Enjoy Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to my other podcast named Kate Movie Club. I think we might do an episode soon. We were talking about watching The Lighthouse because Caitlin hasn't seen it, and Caitlin watched The Thing for the first time this month. I don't know. Time is an illusion, but I also kind of want to talk about that.
That'd be a good doubleheader. Yeah. The Thing in The Lighthouse.
Yeah. We were talking about Willem Dafoe, and I was like, you have to watch The Lighthouse.
You do.
It's fucking
the light is mine.
Perfect. All right. Vampire Clay next week, and then we should be relatively back on track. We're coming up on episode 300, which means we're going to watch some good movies for a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for sending us questions, the people that did. No thanks to Katie sending me D's nuts. All right. I hope D's nuts, but why?
Goddamn farts.
I hope you're down with the sickness, but why?
The farts.
Pretty sure that's exactly how the Lighthouse episode we did ended too.
Yeah.
Actually, probably.